All right, folks, welcome back to our long-term experiment in long-form improv, juxtaposed against tabletop RPG stuff. We are back after a hiatus, and we are coming back to do some interludes, some cool stories because one of our members, Elle, is doing like badass professional actress shit, and we are allowing her to go do that, but we can't really get to the climax of our season 2 story without Rose. So we're going to tell some other stories, particularly ones we've had incubating for a while, and we're going to explore some sides of this world and the various kind of storylines that can exist in it that we haven't explored before. So today, without further ado, an intro into our interlude, A Long Night, which will feature mostly new characters, one familiar. The Agency, or Project Zeta, is a largely off the books mandate funded in the dying days of World War II to investigate, contain, apprehend, and neutralize inexplicable phenomena as defined in the mandate of the agency. Inexplicable phenomena is phenomena that seems to defy current scientific understanding of reality and its various apparati. For 70 years, the agency has recruited primarily from the creme de la creme of national security and government work. They do so on a part-time basis in order to keep their budget within basically the confines of what is feasible for an off-the-books mandate that is almost a century old, and in order to give their agents sufficient cover to conduct their work. Every operative of the agency is a superstar in some other field, be it an FBI special agent or an NSA cryptographer, for example, or a CIA espionage professional, or in one particularly prominent case, a literal congressional staffer. They all have day jobs, but every once in a while, the phone call comes in to come into an agency facility and be debriefed on a particular mystery that needs investigating, a threat that needs monitoring, or a horror that needs dealt with. And these unsung heroes, these public servants, put on a different hat, top secret to the highest levels of the concept, and go out and defend our country from threats that defy easy explanation. Why don't you two introduce your two operatives of the agency real quick here?
I am Larry Woodard, a mid 30s Department of Energy employee. Pudgy, balding, black hair, horn rimmed glasses, rather milk toast individual who is a strange religion. He worships an ancient sect that no one in the modern world really acknowledges anymore. And my partner,
And I will be playing Ariel Humphreys. She, in her day job, is a data analyst for a different three-letter agency, um, wherein she primarily works in understanding threats to national security and making sure that the information that she coalesces into a narrative finds its way into the correct hands. She is in her early 40s. She has short, dark hair. She's a bit. She is a Caucasian woman with a tan from often working out in the field, and she is brusque. Would be the word I would use to describe her.
Well, right on, folks. So tell me what each of you would be doing in a standard day, particularly because the agency hasn't called you in about a year and a half, which is an alarmingly and concerningly long time.
well, Larry would spend most of his time visiting nuclear power sites and checking their security. That's his specialty.
And Ariel would be poring over drone footage, typically quite frustrated with anybody who has not managed to get her more comprehensive information.
The call comes on a winter Sunday afternoon. The temperature in DC, it's cold, but it's not particularly brutal yet. You've had a particularly mild winter on the East Coast for whatever reason. It is a computer-generated voice that you recognize very well, kind of like Microsoft Sam, only more brusque. The second you enter the phone, it gives you a number: 6322. Click. That is the name of a facility and a particular reporting director that tells you where you need to go and when you need to be there. You understand from the code that this is a minor facility. Like literally, you know it's like a vacant real estate office up in Virginia, and that this is a briefing from the deputy director himself.
I send the appropriate emails that inform my other job that my skills are more urgently needed elsewhere, and I give the proper code phrase so that they understand that I'm not to be bothered until I once again communicate.
Larry?
I pretty much work my own schedule because part of my job is showing up unannounced to a nuclear facility and to test their security. So I simply send a quick text to my wife, let her know I'm going to be gone for a little while. She knows what that means. Nothing unusual about it, and drive to where I need to go.
It's a long drive, a good 2-3 hours, and the building is out of the way. Not out of the way in terms of like a bad neighborhood, but out of the way in terms of like the unincorporated part of some super small Virginia Commonwealth township. Like I said, it's an abandoned sort of real estate office, and protocol based on the final number in the code 2. That there will be 2 agents responding. So protocol is to wait in the parking lot until the other arrives, and one of you arrives first and waits for the other, and you are reunited for the first time in nearly 2 years. Yes.
What's our protocol as far as would it be a faux pas to know what we do for work outside of this? Well, we've talked about our personal lives.
It is your decision over how much you've shared with each other. Although
Okay.
the agency encourages pretty close cooperation between its operatives, it enjoys secrecy, but it's likely to be pretty forgiving towards camaraderie building.
Okay, sounds good. Hello,
Larry's
Larry.
not real secretive about what he tells you. He trusts you. Ariel, good to see you again. It's been a long time. Been worried.
Yes, I'm afraid that I've also been having a very adverse reaction to going this long without hearing from the agency or you. She extends her own hand and shakes yours. I had all but given up on ever hearing from them again, in fact, and had resigned myself to merely dealing with the mundane aspects of things that threaten this world and its inhabitants.
I was starting to worry that maybe something from the unseen had infiltrated and just taken things down. I'm still not sure that's not a possibility.
An inside job. Are you worried that we're going to get in there and be eaten by some cosmic horror?
Wasn't really thinking that till you mentioned it, but
I've missed you.
I've missed you too.
Well, shall we go on with becoming digested then?
Or whatever.
Unless you'd like to, I don't know, get donuts. I hadn't thought to bring any.
If this is who I think it is, he should have food there for us.
I know, but I never like it very much.
Yeah, you're pickier than I am. It's
Yes.
probably good for your health.
All right. Let's go on then and attend to the paste, or becoming paste, as the case may be.
The front door is a keypad. You input the code that you were called with, 6322, and it opens, and you enter the facility.
I
Ordinarily,
thought we should use longer codes.
the front room is empty, but any further penetration of the facility would see you encounter security, some kind of screening officer, typically, some kind of page to verify certain things and to set up appropriate accommodations for your personal lives and careers while you were gone. And this place is eerily and unconventionally deserted. There is a room at the end that you know is one of the skiff briefing rooms, and the door is open and the lights are on, which indicates that somebody's in there. But there should be like 10 people in this building right now for a debriefing and a tasking, and you don't see or hear anybody.
I'm going to text my priest real quick and see if he has any news for me. I'm going to use one of my moves, start of the mystery, see if they've the ability to see. Probably won't get anything. Nope. So my sect asked me to do something bad or unpleasant. Let's see. Yeah.
Well,
so whenever he gets back to me, he asks me to do something bad.
I'm gonna hit you with the consequence of that. And you're frozen on video, but we can hear you.
Okay.
And now you're back. All right. I'm gonna hit you with that consequence, but probably after this here. What do you do, Ariel?
I am looking uncomfortable. Sorry, you said that there was a waiting room. You said there was like a room up ahead that was well lit and actually had people in it, or sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna plow ahead on that. I'm a little bit upset that they did not have a more appropriate welcome for us. That said, on the off chance that this is not just a rush job and is in fact some other sort of problem, I will reach into my pockets and have my hand on my firearm.
As you sort of, I would imagine, cautiously advance down the hallway, you hear like the rustling. You start to hear like the rustling of papers and the indicia that the room is occupied. And then finally a gruff voice is, "Operative?
Operator?
Get in here. Close the door behind you."
Larry, we're being beckoned.
Is there anybody else in the building? As I close the door behind us.
In the room is the deputy director of the agency. You only know this because you've seen him have to pull rank at some point in time. This man is known only to you and only to everybody else involved in agency work as Mr. Smith. He's a legend in the field, a former special operative in World War II who somehow seems ageless, which is not really outside of your imprimatur. He's always been sort of vital, if graying, big, strong, action-oriented. He's generous with assignments, generous with informations, and is known in government circles as being a bit of a maverick. But he always gets the job done and always contains and neutralizes threats. You're used to coming into a briefing with him, getting gregariously accosted by just an avalanche of details from a 6'3" muscular, huge beer gut, lifelong government servant nearing his 130th birthday for some reason. The man you see in front of you today, you almost have to double take. For one, he's lost about 100 pounds, like conservatively. Just looks exhausted, pale, gaunt, dark circles under his eyes. He is leafing through a file, which you would imagine belongs to a stack of files next to him that extends upwards near to the ceiling. He looks like hell, like almost as if he is not just suffered, but is suffering some kind of terminal disease, just the worst version of himself. And he acknowledges your question, Larry, with nobody else came when I called, and they don't these days.
That's unfortunate. Did they die?
We have to assume so.
Is this a coordinated effort, as best as we can tell?
It's hard to say given the event. Take a seat, but don't get too comfortable.
Yes, I'm going to require more clarity.
When was the last time we had you in? When was the last time you were tasked?
I'm going to say numbers now, but don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
2 years, 3 months, and 14 days.
Long time.
Yes. I was uncomfortable.
You maintained operational security through the period of no contact?
She just looks affronted.
Of course you have. About you, Larry, how you been?
I've been all right. It's been 18 months. That was only a small job I did on my own, just investigation, nothing. What do you mean no one else has responded? Why haven't you called us since then? When's the last time you had contact?
Well, about a year ago, the world spun off kilter. We woke up one morning having completely lost contact with half of our foreign assets, with supernatural activity having increased to an absolute fever pitch out of nowhere, with public awareness being as high as it has been in 50 years, such that it's making newscasts in places like freaking walking, talking inconvenience, Weldport, Washington.
That was the one aspect of the situation that I did have situational awareness of. We'd gotten reports that made me cautious at my other job.
It's good to be cautious. It's taken us the better part of a year to pull together what remains of our operational force. We've lost more than just people. We've lost money. We've lost resources. It's like we went to bed on one night so close to Christmas and woke up in an entirely different world. And unfortunately, that has resulted in casualties. Tell me, did any of your work ever, outside of my briefing you, I know that you've both taken assignments from as high up as the director himself, involved a facility? And this is not a familiar word for you other than the word facility.
That is unhelpful unless you would expect us to know if there was something very specific that you were talking about.
We kept you in the field then.
Yes.
Fair enough. Larry, facility. Anything in your past?
Other than I go to nuclear facilities all the time, I assume it means something different.
It's the word we put on the books for our scientific and containment centers across the country. See, sometimes threats need to be neutralized, and they can. And sometimes mysteries simply need to be solved, the results written up, and a top secret seal placed upon them. But sometimes threats need containing, or threats and phenomena need studying. For that, there is, give or take, $1 billion a year in our funding mandate to appoint research and containment facilities. Now, once upon a time, we had 102 across the country. We have lost contact with a great many of them. Look, I don't know whose secrets I'm keeping. We've lost contact with over 80 of them in the last 18 months. Now, the vast majority of that represents a loss merely in promising research leads and various other, shall we say, answer-seeking activities. Inconvenient, stressful, but not serious. The vast majority of our mandate is to study the inexplicable phenomena, to juxtapose it against the mundane in hopes of better protecting the mundane, our citizens, your neighbors, their property, our country. But recently, a particular facility has, we can definitively say, gone dark. The worst one.
By worst, I assume you mean housing the most dangerous elements, creatures.
Facility 63 in Chicago was where we were conducting studies into the nature of reality itself. We had a great many paraphysical consultants and career-long government scientists probing the very fabric of this for decades, hoping to figure out just how the membrane of this world works and why it seems to be semi-permeable and what can be done about that. When the event, the turning of the page, occurred, Facility 3 was within contact, although I hear it was chaos over there, their instruments suddenly out of calibration. But research advanced at a phenomenal clip. In fact, just 2 months ago, a particular observational breakthrough through the astronomy department of Facility 3 revealed the possible presence of mythological dragons in our world, or at least their arcane residue. I tried to make contact a month ago with Facility 3. I could not do so. I tried to make contact with my roster of operatives. I followed standard protocols. I tried to contact Team 1 on my list. Waited a week. Contacted Team 2. You two are Team 17, and you're the first to respond to my summons. And all the while, from Facility 3, all I have is silence.
Deputy Director, may I make an inference and imagine that you are going to ask us to investigate this facility?
I am indeed going to do so. Unfortunately, I did not have you in my dossier as Team 1. I wish I had, because when I contacted Team 1 and they didn't respond, it was warmer. I don't know if you have been paying attention, but the storm of the century is going to hit Chicago in about 18 hours. Snow has already fallen. Temperatures are already approaching their record lows. There's already a death toll, in other words. And in the matter of about a day or two, the greater Chicago area, including Facility 3, is going to be cut off from my ability to reinforce you. I have to get a team into that facility before whatever has happened to it has the cover of a blizzard to clean up their mess and escape with answers. There is every likelihood that somebody just opened some black hole and it sucked the staff through. But there is also a likelihood that the facility has fallen under attack, and we cannot risk losing evidence.
So who will be accompanying us in case we do need to fight?
Nobody. There is nobody else, Larry. What you see is what I was able to scrounge up. The three of us in this room represent the sum of the agency's active forces on the East Coast.
We are presented with the problem that while both Larry and I are extremely competent and proficient, neither of us are
Pipe hitters.
Yes.
Be that as it may, if not you, who else?
Someone who listens to orders and has a very prominent brow and large biceps and can aim a firearm.
Pipe
Oh,
hitters.
I attempted to, shall we say, 1099 my way out of this problem. I have a friend of a friend of a friend who knows a particularly potent gentleman, some church operative out of Washington, who, legend has it, works with a dragon, a god, and several magicians. But I have not been able to make contact, and time is short.
So are we driving there? Can we get a jet in, or is the weather too
I
bad?
have, out of my own retirement account, chartered you a plane. If you leave from the airfield just 4 blocks up the road within 30 minutes, you should arrive before the worst of the storm starts hitting Chicago. There is something else I feel you must be made aware of. Have you heard of the director in recent months?
You were my first contact since the last time I engaged in a mission.
The director's name was William Lloyd. I don't know if you know that. He moonlit as a general counsel for the NSA. He lived in a rather spacious and well appointed condo on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. He takes a picture out of his folder and slides it. These are photographs of that condo 2 days ago.
Would this have been a prominent enough person that I, in my day job, would know of him?
Both of you would know of him, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The photo is of a violent murder. Blood everywhere, a corpse just torn to absolute pieces. And here, my operatives, is my evidence that none of this is a coincidence and that we are being targeted.
Yeah. Do you know who might have done this?
I'm working on it.
How?
Well, I don't have any operatives in the field. I do have operatives in cubicles. All of our analyst and cryptographic efforts are being directed towards this particular problem. Trying to figure out who would have an actual animus against the agency is difficult, considering our relatively laissez-faire approach for the last 20 years to the supernatural community. But the turbulence in our situation is such that we have made enemies that defy comprehension. As in, I woke up in the morning and I had enemies where I previously had friends. The fact of the matter is, agents, the list of the people who could have done this, the groups, the personages, it's as long as my arm. It's a different world.
Well, if we're going to do this, let's get on the move. Do we have some cold weather gear and some?
I have seen that the jet is packed with everything you might need, namely basic investigative equipment, cold weather supplies, and ammunition. I know you both carry.
Deputy Director, I'm struggling to come up with a way to frame my thoughts that don't come off as cruel.
Miss Humphreys, just speak your mind. This is likely the last time we will ever speak.
Yes, along those lines, I understand that there are some ways in which you could likely overpower and kill me before I reach the door. That said, that seems to be the only reason that I would consider doing this, unless you can provide me with more compelling information regarding what we might encounter there that might change my mind, because currently I am only aware that there is an extreme level of danger wherein the skills that Larry and I possess might be of some modicum of value, but are not likely to be the most adept at handling this process. And it sounds as if the best thing that we could do to me is outsource this. The next closest people to this situation, anyone who has not been hit, anyone who still has something remaining as central governing platform, maybe even just leak something that sounds more mundane to the traditional intelligence agencies.
Well, as much as I'm a little miffed that you assume that is not what I'm doing, I can give you why I believe this issue is urgent. Fuck it, as the children say these days. What does the word God mean to you, Miss Humphreys?
A word for a very primitive understanding of processes and systems that are much larger than us.
Fair enough. What about you, Larry? You've always had interesting answers to questions like this.
Well, give me the capital G or lowercase. Capital G, it's the whole Judeo-Christian worldview. There's this one God who's reigning over everything. But,
Give me lowercase.
well, there's many gods and goddesses who look over us, protect us, can shape the future and shape the past.
Oh.
I've seen enough to know that he's not wrong, but I think it's more complicated than that.
Our Zeta classifications are reserved only for items and threats of potentially world-ending consequence. The Zeta research priority of Facility 3 was into the nature of a rising god. And we pulled in experts from all over the country, from Andrew Foray to, well, you have to call him John Doe, to Janessa Miller. Every bit of the brain trust we could gather was working in a top secret Zeta facility in Facility 3 to investigate the possible emergence of godhood into our reality. Now, I remember a report from Facility 3 that one of our consultants, I believe it was Miss Miller, had reported progress on that front from her independent research objectives in Wellport, Washington. A week later, the event occurred. I'm afraid that's what's broken containment in that facility, folks, is possibly a small g god or something associated therein. And if we don't get answers so that we can employ our other knowledge in our other facilities towards containing a potential threat, we might be dealing with an Armageddon scenario. So, yes, ordinarily I would wait another 2 weeks to try to send into Facility 3 a team with a better fit skill set. But considering the world and its very fate might be at risk, I'm going to have to take what I can get. And I know that you don't do this, either of you, for the extra $50,000 a year in pay attached to your ordinary day-to-day responsibilities. You do it because you feel some sense of duty and some sense of fascination in the unknown. Well, if you have any duty, you have a duty to the human race, even above your duty to the United States of America. And if you have any curiosity, well, the stuff of the ascension of man might very well be in that facility right now, preparing to take us all with it.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Tell me there is a chance that I am not throwing my life away for nothing.
I think it is very likely that the threat that destroyed Facility 3, or at least took it out of contact, is no longer there. I have every reason to believe that this is just an investigation, but what I need from the two of you is to give me answers. I need you to not just give me answers as to what happened to Facility 3, but I need you to tell me what they discovered in its last days before it went dark.
Are you going to remain here till we get back?
Nowhere else to go. Also, I'm going to continue to try to contact teams to potentially provide you with reinforcements. I have another 37 to get through on my list. And rest assured, anyone who does respond, I will be sending in right after you. It would be my preference if we had a dozen men and women on the ground on this one, but I need a vanguard, and you're it.
I will make arrangements for my dogs, and I prefer to travel when I have my traditional mobile facilities set up. Let me call someone local and see if I can prepare that.
He reaches into his back pocket, takes out like a satchel wallet, leafs through, throws a black card on the table. To the extent you incur expenses in preparing yourself for travel and to do your job, charge it to that card. As far as I know, it's still attached to a fully funded mandate account.
You know, if 2 out of the 3 of us do die, the remaining one could certainly have a very fun time with this.
Oh, almost certainly. I have no idea how much money is left in that particular account. It could be 6 figures, it could be 8, but that would be the fun of it, wouldn't it?
Yes, I would be very curious.
Ariel, you know I don't like flying, and I really don't like flying in bad weather. So let's get this plane off the ground and onto the ground before the really bad weather hits.
Mm-hmm. Yes, away from the bad weather, towards the possible world-destroying God.
Let's land
One
before the
final
blizzard
thing.
comes in.
One final thing. Your priorities are this and in this order. Get information, get out. Once the two of you have obtained something, anything that reveals what is going on in there, your survival and thus the survival of that information becomes paramount. I am not just asking, I am specifically instructing that you not play hero, that you not play try hard, that you not play overachiever. Discover what happened to that facility, discover what happened in the Zeta project, and get out.
I'm your man, Mr. Smith.
God
I
bless
am
both of you,
here.
and God bless America. Go.
Yeah, I'll
Get to the plane, start looking through the gear, make sure there's nothing there nothing I want that's not there.
It's a janky flight. Like, it's a charter plane. It exists. It's airworthy. It has an engine and has propellers. But this is not usually the best the agency can do. Seems like slumming it a little bit for them.
I'm also going to pull out my prayer beads and start saying a prayer and try to look at what the future holds.
Okay,
One
go
of
and
the
roll.
rules. Oh, yes, 8. 8 plus 3, 11. So I get to hold 3.
Okay.
And I can spend these, just so you know, I can use these to have a useful object ready, be somewhere I'm needed just in time, take +1 forward, or give +1 forward to another hunter, and retroactively warn someone about an attack so that it doesn't happen.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, right on. Make sure you make note of those. And your phone buzzes. It is a text message from your contact. And the text message only reads, for the sake of us all, pass on information on the God.
Thumbs up it and send it back.
I would have also contacted someone in Chicago. One of the abilities associated with the expert is a haven. I selected Panic Room, which has essential supplies and is protected by normal and mystical means. I can hide out there for a few days, safe from pretty much anything.
You're calling like the operator?
Yeah, or like, you know, someone who I think can prepare for me something that is mechanically a panic room within the city of Chicago, close enough by.
Hey there, Ariel. What's going on? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yes, I missed you too. It was painful not speaking to you.
Oh, there. It's that cutting sarcasm that you usually bring to these type of conversations there. What can I do for you?
I wanted a safe facility set up for me in the city of Chicago, close to Facility 3, if you have that available.
Oh, there. Facility 3. Yeah, fortunately, a little bit out there means there were some real estate opportunities there. Listen, I got a safe house. I got an underground bunker there. What can you give me a little bit more for your needs here? You need like a fully functioning lab, or you need an arsenal? The bunker we bought from a former survivalist from the Cold War era. There, it's got a gun safe that I've kept pretty well outfitted, if you know what I mean.
This
Got
was
a full
designed to
parental
protect from
lab.
nuclear blasts.
Safer nuclear blasts, according to the guy who built it. I don't really know or test those sorts of things. I would guess if one of them dang old there CBMs dropped on Chicago, we would be in a little bit of trouble. But seems pretty sturdy. Lots of concrete, rebar kind of thing.
I think
Yeah,
that's
food and
probably
cans.
the closest we can do for my purposes.
All right, 100% here. You still using the same cell phone number there for field work?
For now, yes.
All right, I am forwarding you the address here, and now I just need an agency account number to bill expenses to, and I'll have this sucker. Well, shoot, I better have this sucker outfitted here soon. It's about to. I'm telling you, the goddess of winter's about to open her skirt here and let us all get buried. So I better get after it.
Yes, I would like if you did that. Thank you very much. You've been extremely helpful. And I will just take out that card and read off the numbers.
Ooh, man, one of the fancy directorship blacks. All right.
Yes, it's one of those.
We're going to use these cards here. You know, those suckers are made of pure titanium and their edges are sharpened so you can
My
use them
goodness. That is very impressive.
100%.
Yes.
Anyway, there, I'm going to go ahead and get after this before the roads are undrivable. I don't want to have to put chains on the old monster out here.
Yes. Thank you. All right, good. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Click.
Oh my God. Larry, I'd really like it if just anyone who is not a professional, or at least who doesn't know how to speak like one, you could take point on. I am already finding my nerves a bit frayed by the nature of what we're doing. And I would prefer to not have to deal with imbeciles.
Yeah, I'll do what I can. Just remember, this is what I'm focusing on. As soon as we find out information about what the mystery is with this, whatever's causing all this, we're supposed to pull back and report and not go any. So we're just trying to find out just a little bit of information and then leave, get to someplace safe.
I have no intention of being a hero, at least not beyond the heroics that define the day-to-day operations here, but...
Did he forget who we were when he was talking to us?
It felt like it. It felt like I was being discussed as if I were Captain America, and that makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Did you get a sitter for your dogs?
Yes, they'll be fine. The boys will be fine. I will stop worrying about them, and it will be fine.
All right.
You all have done more study into the veil and what might lie on to the other side of it than I have in terms of more mystical elements of our career. If a being like this is newly formed, is our range of outcomes as infinite as it seems? Anything from, I don't know, a small blip in something attached to the concept of lamps that will sometimes make them short out, or the dissolution of reality as we understand it, because that is where my mind is going to, the fact that it is a cosmic roll of the die separating us from utter oblivion.
Well, not to get too actually on you, but from what I understand, there aren't new gods created. might be a new god to our reality, but he's always been there, or she's always been there in some form. So this is just introduction of a new god into our reality, and he's not the only one. So it's not like there's this new god pops in and it's just us mortals. There are other gods already here to keep him in check.
This
So it could get
entity,
really, really bad.
though, when we've seen how they might interact with us previously, though, let me just say that I doubt how active and persistent the security provided by these other gods is. It feels like it is always people, boots on the ground, who are doing their work, even if they should happen to provide a helpful nudge in the right direction. It's up to us, and us is two people with shiny badges and helpful guesses and little else.
We're just there to collect information. And if he's really as powerful as you think he is, he probably won't even take notice of us.
I would like to not die.
No. And all you're really doing ever is delaying your death. I mean, it's inevitable, right?
Cut the crap, Larry.
I'm serious.
I would like to die a very long time from now. I am on the verge of many things which I would prefer to be my legacy before I should have my consciousness scattered on the wind or coalesced into another form or fundamentally no longer be Ariel Humphreys, partner of Larry and member of the agency. Whatever I am going to be one day, it's not that anymore, and that still has things to do.
You know, you probably don't want to hear this again, but you got to find a man. You can find a good guy and have some kids. It'd be good for you.
Mm-hmm.
No,
yes, you have said that before.
Chicago is a big town. There might be, you might meet the love of your life there. You never know.
Oh, yes. This is the time. This is the moment. Soulmates.
Isn't that what the movie Titanic was all about?
Shall we say you guys have been on the plane having this conversation?
Yeah, I imagine.
We're actually shouting at each other over the noise of the aircraft.
Kind of takes out his radio and his speakers coming into sort of the back. It's like we're touching down at a farming hangar on the outskirts of Chicago, folks. This is ugly. If you are not wearing your coats, put them on.
Also, yes, I will be very attractively dressed for this, as she kind of like scoots on like this big old parka type thing.
Right on. When the plane touches down and he prepares and the pilot prepares it for exit, you leave it to one of the more robust blizzards either of you have ever encountered. It is practically whiteout conditions. Snow has already accumulated nearly a feet, like being barely beaten back by a bunch of farmhands with shovels. And waiting for you is a snowplow, truck-sized, and a guy waiting by it who looks dressed completely casual except for an insignia he's got sewn into his coat that shows that he's an agency contractor.
So you all right?
Taking you to 3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have one stop I would like to make on the way, if that's feasible.
Okay, I got another idea though. How about we just go into the city and get a hotel room and say we did? Because this is not good, folks.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could just give us the car keys.
I'll drop you where you need to go. I'll drop you at your stop. We got enough time before this gets real bleak. But you should know, once I drop you at 3, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get you back. they're saying that we're going to have the worst road conditions in 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I packed very warm coats. Thank you. We're aware of all of this.
All right, you guys are goddamn American heroes. All right, where am I dropping you off first?
There is a this address.
All right, that's on the way. Actually, let's do this now. Well, we
Yes,
still
that is
got
what I said.
actually some equivalent of daylight. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
He drives you to the building, which is again kind of like it's a foreclosed upon house, but you can tell literally based on the architecture that somebody's unfinished basement got turned into a panic room. These are typically pretty hard targets.
Yeah, I will just go out putting a few things, and I am going to take a few minutes. And I know that the Haven is technically, by mechanics, already protected from magical means, but I imagine that in our case, that'll be a matter of like me going over a few sigils and stuff with Larry's expertise to try and make sure that they would go to his specifications and everything, and make sure that they're all tidy and cover a broad range and spectrum of potential threats.
Roll weird.
All right. I imagine that would probably be closer to him unless you want both of us doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us? Okay. That will be a 7.
13.
Whew.
Hey, you're fine.
I'm using magic.
Yeah, you guys collaborate and make sure that the arcane defenses of this place are looking solid.
Physically, it looks sturdy still.
It's very sturdy. This is a well-made little facility. Pretty reliable. It probably hasn't been used, or if it has, it hasn't fallen under a serious attack ever.
If it has like gas generators and stuff, I want them running.
It's a Haven. It's a fully independent facility, a fully independent safe room.
All right, sounds good.
It's not what you would call a particularly hard target, but it's hidden and it's safe and it's got some defenses.
Do we have like a satellite phone? Like, will we be able to like track the GPS coordinates on this even in whiteout conditions?
Both of you would have, like, as just part of your standard agency kit, you would have sat phones. You would have
Okay, cool. Now, knowing, I don't suppose this person had any like snow gear or anything stowed up in here, would they? Or like would my contact have been able to procure anything like that?
He has procured you a bunch of like Arctic tactical gear.
Cool.
So like synthetic parkas, walking sticks, UV goggles that help you see through whiteout. Yes, snowshoes.
I'm going to take with us.
Not a cross country ski.
Yeah. I'm going to take with us like backpacks with an. We're going out and supposedly coming back. I'm packing food for 5 days though. Food and water.
All right.
Yeah, loading it up in addition to our armaments.
Yep. You would have all these supplies, so you guys can load them up. It's don't even need a roll.
Cool.
And hot cocoa too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Along with agency thermoses that are charged that you can press a button, it'll warm up whatever's in there.
I would also like a drone with a camera if we were able to get one of those.
Roll for cool.
That would be 8 plus 1.
Yeah, there's a drone with a camera. It's only at 25% charge when you examine it.
How does it charge?
You'd have to plug it in and wait.
Okay.
And
we don't have that kind of time, but I don't know. I imagine the facility doesn't have power, but maybe we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
So 25% power for a drone this robust, probably keep it in the air for about 10 minutes.
I'm going to call out to the driver. I don't suppose you have a cigarette lighter adapter for this?
For agency reconnaissance tech, I don't, unfortunately.
Okay. That's all I can think of, Larry.
This fucker's fascinating, though. You got a modern one there.
Mm-hmm. I don't particularly like to work with anything else.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, folks, can I get you to this facility here before I get entombed in ice and snow?
Yeah, let's go. I make sure I have my mace and knife handy along with my Glock because I figure I'm wearing gloves and I probably can't use the pistol very effectively. And I can't use the mace very effectively either, but at least I'll be able to use it somewhat.
God, I didn't know we were going to a snowed-in monster facility, but the fact that I'm going to be in fucking Arctic gear with a flamethrower, it really makes me feel like it's the thing, and that makes me happy. That is my favorite horror film.
As you drive off, and as you're driving towards this facility, it's only like a 30-minute or so drive, slowed down as you are with like a snowplow attached to a truck and whatnot. But if you've ever experienced a blizzard that literally gets worse through the windshield as you're watching, that is what is happening now. It goes from bad to what both of you have enough life experience to know is catastrophic. Like the type of blizzard that has a death toll in the hundreds or thousands. We're talking flakes as big as the palm of somebody's hand coming down in sheets, in blankets. And the last 5 minutes of your drive to the facility, this beastly snowplow truck actually legitimately starts to struggle. You can feel it. The driver doesn't complain. He's skilled. He's got studded chains on the tire and a big old plow, but you can feel the vehicle. And both the conditions are starting to get to a level of bad that man-made vehicles are going to struggle no matter what they are.
Okay. How far via car was the facility from the safe house?
Only about 5 miles, but it takes you a good 30 minutes to get there given the conditions.
Yeah, okay. And 5 miles hiking through the snow would also be a hell of a thing, but not
with snowshoes.
Not a death sentence.
Terrible.
Yeah.
When he parks you outside of the facility, which is like a flat gray building. It almost looks like an old manufacturing facility, like a large plant where stuff was made. Completely mundane from the outside, but fairly large. And he taps a gauge on the front of his console and says, "You guys have a way to get in there?"
I am going to message the deputy director and be like, suggested penetration point. We've arrived at the facility.
He texts back almost immediately, front door, and gives you a 9-digit code.
The front, please.
So I'm going to point this out just because I would be not doing my job if I didn't here, folks. It's 11 degrees, and it's 5:45 p.m.
We have taken precautions.
You go in there. When you come out, it's going to be below zero, snowing like cats and dogs. Stay in there, at least until this stops, and we can exfiltrate you, okay? I'm not sure I can get back to you, and I can't wait for you. I'll freeze.
We have taken precautions. What level of clearance do you possess?
I'm a facilitator, level 2, several rungs below you guys.
I'm going to be taking notes as I go. I am going to attempt to give them to the deputy director as much as possible.
Smith?
Yes.
Wild. Haven't heard from him in a while.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. I feel better. You're here for Smith, man. I don't know anyone who's heard from Smith in an age.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard from anyone before this mission in a while?
Oh, shoot. I ran supplies and basic equipment to Facility 3 there for a few months, but it's been 6 months since the agency pinged my number. I've just been doing road maintenance and tactical exfiltration for local law enforcement.
What was the last thing you shipped up here? Do you remember?
Yeah, actually, it was a bunch of crates. Apparently, they were fragile. I know a couple of them contained just like oodles of documents. We were shipping it out from the West Coast. Apparently, the head of research down there at one of Three's lower facilities needed some consultant's notes after she got like committed or something.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I think that is just about everything covered. Regardless of whether or not you are able to make the trip when we would be seeking to leave and we have gathered what we can, I will message you, inform me if you are unable to make it, and remain on standby for the conditions to get to your minimum level of comfort.
Fair enough. And he starts like zipping his coat, like wrapping his scarf around. Last thing I'm going to do after I drop you off is I'm going to set up one of these mobile satellite stations out front. Whole point would be you can just leave the front door, plug any communication device into this sucker, it'll upload immediately to the network. It'll only take me like 5 minutes, but it'll be waiting for you when you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the briefing was clear. I was to do everything possible to make sure that you guys got information out of this facility.
Yes, I understand.
All right, good luck. And he kind of grabs like a box and runs out, runs by the door and starts like unpacking it and setting it up as fast as he can.
Okay.
I strap all this I can on, put on my snowshoes, and trudge towards the front door.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Front door is just basic. It's glass door. Looks like probably bulletproof glass, but with a code lock.
We use the code we were provided with.
It opens with a click, kind of like a soft click. And both of you roll sharp.
My best one. Ooh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
9.
You notice instantly, with just like your seasoned awareness, the cameras in sort of the front vestibule, which it's basically like a waiting room. There are 3 of them, and they all turn to you, the front door.
They like turn, or they're turned toward it.
Larry.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable.
Something I'm thinking about. They really want to have information out of here. If we just go out to the satellite and upload everything we have, they have a lot less incentive to come get us.
Do you... I know that they would, but do they have a good reason to disregard us? I suppose that depends on the level of threat that we find.
Exactly. If they think this is really dangerous, I'm thinking we don't tell them everything. We upload anything, we just upload enough to whet their interest, and so they have to come get us. What do you think?
I don't feel comfortable underselling the threat enough if it is truly going to be catastrophic for everybody else. I wouldn't want them to believe that it's...
I'm not saying we undersell the threat. We just give them incomplete information, but make sure they understand how bad the danger is, so they have to come get us to get the full story.
If it comes to that.
It's assuming we can't just leave. If we might be able to walk out of here, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And that might... freezing to death might be a better option than we face inside, and the threat of freezing to death.
It was 5 miles to the safe house. If things reach a point of leave or die, we have an option. It will not be a comfortable option, and death is still a possibility, but it's not certain. And we have our satellite phones. We can find the safe house again. We have a contingency. It's just not very good. So we'll do what we can.
What does the interior look like? What is there?
Honestly looks like a waiting room at a doctor's office, except more high tech. There's more surveillance tech. There's chairs and tables. There's a front desk, and there is in the back of the room a door that looks like it belongs in a bank vault, not in a regular like medical manufacturing facility. Going further into the building.
What's the temperature like in here?
Cold, but not that cold, like 60s.
Okay. This is probably not the best option, but Larry is not a pipe hitter. So I'm going to take most of my gear and set it down behind the desk so that anyone looking in through the glass doesn't see that there's a backpack and snowshoes and everything. Layer down to where I'm comfortable, but not, I hope all bulked up.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
probably throw, like, if I can take the parka and just tie it around my back so it's there if it gets really cold, but not so it's not on me.
Yeah,
we got cordage, so make a little backpack.
that sounds reasonable, and you can absolutely take the time to do that. You're now in control of your own operation.
Okay. Do we have any idea how big this facility is?
Yeah, this does actually feel like something I probably should have thought of before, but
Yeah,
they
it's
also
fair
had more
enough.
time to think of it than we did. Would we have gotten floor plans?
Yeah, it's massive.
Okay.
There's an entire top level that is mainly just containment, autopsy, and like crafting, and there's a basement level dug into the shale that you can access through a central secured elevator that leads to various levels of research facilities. It looks like there are 3 levels: Gamma, Tau, and Zeta at the very bottom.
And our understanding was that the entity, or what might have become one, was being housed in the lower levels, correct?
The Zeta facility, the very basement level, the most secured. The director told you that that's the level that was conducting research into this new god phenomenon.
Okay.
I'm going to try to use magic and figure out what kind of arcane protections they have up.
Go ahead, roll weird, or roll for whatever you're doing.
Weird is probably what I do.
Good if we let
11?
Larry take lead for a minute and I step away for a moment.
Yeah, 100%.
It's an 11 on use magic.
So, you come to 2 concurrent revelations. The first is that the arcane defenses surrounding this place were absolutely robust, just very, very strong. And they have been ruined. Not really through any blunt force method, like there was craft to it, but they've been completely shredded from the outside. The second is that there are some minor arcane defenses that have been set up since, and they are very, very fresh.
Okay, one of my moves is when I use magic, I can ask a question for the investigate a mystery move as your effect.
Go for it. What's the question?
So what sort of creature is it? Do I know what might have set up these mystical defenses?
Probably a person. And on that note, we are switching over to somebody else. We'll be right back to you two. Past the vaulted steel door is a cleansing facility where radiation and detoxification showers and various radiological scans occur to make sure people leaving the facility back to the outside world are clean. You, Janessa Miller, arrived some 8 hours ago after making your particularly daring escape from the mental health facilities of Wellport, Washington. Port General, to, well, what are you here for?
Well, okay, so the whole souls thing, that's like really, really difficult to do at this point. But you know what? Figuring out how to get from one place or another, that's super interesting. And also, I just need my notes because like the world is kind of falling apart, and I gave it to the government because it was a great paycheck for like the moment, but they kind of chipped out on me, and also I just need them back. So like I called them and they didn't answer, and I was like, okay, rude, I need my stuff. And then I was like, I know I've been in the mental hospital, but damn it, pick up my phone. And then they didn't pick up my phone.
Yeah.
And then I figured out, what?
Well, yeah, and they broke their deal. They were willing to pay you for your notes, and they paid you for their notes. What you weren't expecting is, well, you were on your, shall we say, mental health care vacation. You didn't expect them to raid your lab.
No, I did not expect that. And that was extraordinarily rude. And, I don't know, after the initial lab burnt down in that whole accident, and then we had to, it's just been a lot. It's just been a lot. And for my own mental health, for my own sanity, I just need to get back to work. And you know what? Maybe I can do some good in the process, and maybe I'll eventually actually get that Nobel Prize that I am owed, because I have done some goddamn good work. And just because I'm a female and I'm too young doesn't mean I should be disqualified from the committee. And I know I wrote that angry Twitter rant about, oh wait, do we call it X now? What is it? The whole world is just insane. Why would we call it X? Whose idea was that? Clearly that is not even, no. We're not calling it X.
Okay, fair enough. Twitter rant on what?
Oh, about how the whole Nobel committee was a bunch of idiots who were stuck in the 19th century and will never actually make any more progress because they're all too old, addled, and their brains have atrophied too much to actually make any contributions. So they have to gatekeep who's allowed to make contributions and allowed to get recognized for the contributions that they have to make.
So you came out to Facility 3 to rescue your research, to shove it in the faces of all those awards committee jagoffs who have denied you your just due.
I mean, okay, that's very concise.
Yeah, I mean, that's my job. I'm keeper / the voice in your head.
They're mostly gone.
Yeah, except for me.
Okay.
I'm a good influence, though.
You explicitly had permission to stay because you showed me how to make the whole wormhole thing. Unfortunately, the fishbowl is broken, so I can't use it to get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't actually anticipate how fragile it would be, but unfortunately your escape was under duress.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just not particularly happy with the fact that this whole place looked like it's a war zone.
Yeah.
I was expecting to get in, actually get into the lab. You said get the map of the place. I got the map of the place. You didn't say it had to be of the exact room. So I got dropped here, and then anyway.
So, what did you feel about when you discovered that guy, the guy in the corner of the wet room here who looks like a human raisin, very dead?
I mean, he's truly fascinating. Like, to have all of the moisture sucked out of you, but to be very clearly very recently dead, that is some sophistication. I can't actually see any lacerations. It just looks like he's been early mummified somehow, which is truly not a great sign. So I would like to find another fishbowl.
Okay, another fishbowl. Well, maybe you could find some amongst the personal effects of the researchers who were stuck and, let's be honest, between you and me, probably died here. If you could penetrate the facility further. But unfortunately, you found a way to get past the door into the cleaning facility. The final secured entrance seems to require some kind of code and biometric scanning. And because these guys are obviously a bunch of dicks, they have explicitly reprogrammed the sucker to exclude your biometric data.
This would have all been fine if you had told me that I needed to get us into the exact room with the exact map.
I can't tell you everything.
That is literally what I keep you around for. I can kick you out just like I kicked out the other ones.
Well, I'm not omniscient, Janessa. I'm just the narrator of this adventure.
All right. So I go over to the guard over there. Just this is not really going to work because he's too shriveled. But I grab his hand. I don't know. Does it come off?
His skin is more akin to like old parchment paper than skin. Starts to flake, starts to crumble.
Cool. Instead of grabbing the hand, I grab like the femur right here and I like wiggle it until the elbow bone comes out, and I just have his hand and I take it over and see if his biometrics by chance work.
Bam, bam, bam. Incomplete biometric data.
Yeah.
Degraded fingerprint detected.
Wait, what did it say? What
Degraded fingerprint detected. Oh, by the way, Janessa, those wards you set up in the lobby, someone's examining them.
Cool. I don't really have time for this.
What if it's one of the researchers of this facility who knows where your notes are?
Did I pass a camera room on my way here?
Well, you know that the camera controls are probably in the front desk. That's where all these government types do it.
The camera controls wouldn't be in the front desk. I need the room with all the screens.
Oh, the security vestibule would be deeper in the facility, probably underground. But the front desk receptionist would have tools to monitor security footage.
Right, but the front desk receptionist is where the wards are set up, so that's not helpful.
Also, all you found of the front desk receptionist is a literal foot.
The what?
All you found of the front desk receptionist when you came down here was her left foot. Unfortunately,
yeah, but I don't need the receptionist. I need the cameras so that I can look at. Okay, not helpful. I'm just gonna go check this out myself. So I do.
Fair enough.
Walk up to the thing, kind of cautiously. I think she's seen enough that she's not really. She's like, whatever. If it's gonna take me, it's gonna take me. But probably not because I'm smarter and you know. She just assumes she can either talk or think her way out of it.
Ariel and Larry, with a sudden resounding clack, the steel door to the back opens, and out walks a woman.
Sorry, I was muted.
Hello?
I pull my magnum. I'm not aiming it directly at her, but it
do
is
you
drawn.
work here?
Yes. Well, I used to. I mean, I was a researcher here. They have my stuff, and I need it back. What do? You don't look like goons.
I'm sorry. I don't think I would prefer to answer your questions right now. Can we have your name?
Okay. What?
Can we have your name?
My name is Dr. Janessa Miller, and they have my notes in the back, and I need them. So if either of you...
Wait, they have your notes?
Yes.
When did they bring them here?
Define they also.
They, the people, the government, the people who are responsible for the pigeons, all of that.
You know, I think, remember the driver told us about the notes that were brought here on his last shipment? And what he said about the person whose notes they were?
Yes, I recall the name.
Okay, cool. So they know I'm here, which is not surprising because they do seem to know a great deal. I just need my stuff.
When did you get here?
About 45 minutes ago.
Gun still in one hand, I am going to take out a message and I will type out to the deputy director. I need a recent photo of Janessa Miller.
Does not take long at all. Like 5 seconds later, a link to her faculty ID page at Felton University comes back. And this is her, substantially less put together than her photo, but very clearly her.
What was her doctorate thesis on?
Janessa?
My doctorate thesis was on the you're not gonna. It was on the quantum physics in chemistry and about basically figuring out what makes up a soul. Like we were measuring the thing that is a person.
That matches what's on the page.
Very complicated.
Dr. Miller, smile, please.
Why?
Take a picture and send it to the deputy director.
They
know who I am.
Like, that's her, all right. And then another message. She's supposed to be in the asylum.
I text back. She says she got here 45 minutes ago, trying to get more information.
I will.
Use her the message back. Use her knowledge of Facility 3. She's worked here.
Okay, I will lower my. I will put my firearm back in its holster.
Real quick, is Bill frozen for anybody else?
Visually, yes.
His sound isn't, so
the audio's been fine, but video's been rough.
Okay.
Let me try one thing.
Leave it. It's fine. I was hearing you just fine.
Okay. So you got here 45 minutes ago?
Yes. But my wormhole contraption broke, so I'm going to need to find another fishbowl. And she holds up like a cracked fishbowl, and inside there's like a plastic baggie, and it's got like a tarot card and a bunch of dust in it, and like dice and a burned map. I'm going to need to make another one of these because I need to get back to Weldport, to where all of this is actually originating.
That explains a lot. Is that powered by technology or magic?
Okay, well, the difference between those two things is actually not really important. It works. I just need a new fishbowl.
Do you know what happened here? Like before you got here?
I do not. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not particularly interested in finding out because I have a feeling whoever did this is not really interested in us finding out what happened. You two do not look like you were involved. You look way too squishy, frankly, way too timid. The fact that you didn't even point your gun at me at all when I came through those doors. I'm so sorry. You guys are clearly not field people.
Would you like me to point my gun at you?
Okay, well, I just came out of the haunted facility just by myself. And, I could have been anybody. I could have had a gun pointed at you.
If you had, I would have shot at you.
Okay, honey.
Haunted facility? Can we go back to that phrase? What do you mean by haunted facility?
I mean, this place is full of like desiccated mummies, which isn't normal.
This was a detail of things that we were unaware of.
Okay, well, it's full of desiccated mummies, which is not normal unless you're from a part of the world where that is normal now, which I suppose is possible. Is that a normal thing where you come from?
I need clarification. Are these active mummies in the film moving about attacking people since, or have they just been mummified?
No, they're just desiccated.
Okay.
They're dead. They're very dead. They're dead unnaturally, possibly supernaturally. I would like to get my stuff and leave. I'm guessing you two also need to retrieve something.
Leaving is going to be impossible for the time being.
Not if I fix my fishbowl. We can go back to Weldport.
What is your fishbowl supposed to do?
It's a wormhole. It will take us back to Weldport. We'll need to find a map of my university, and we'll need to fix the fishbowl, and then we can go back.
Now, you said Weldport's the place where this all started?
As far as I can tell, probably. Because there's a bunch of
really... The Blizzard might be a better option.
What?
The Blizzard might be a better option.
Than Weldport?
If all this, the desiccated mummies and all that started at Weldport, maybe we don't go back to where...
Honey. Weldport cracked the fabric of reality as we know it, okay? I'm not quite sure how I'm standing because I have seen through several of those cracks. They are horrifying, mesmerizing, majestic, and amazing, but they are reaching here too. So you're not really safe here. And Weldport is where all the interesting stuff is happening. So I'm going back to Weldport. If you would like to come with me, you can. If you would like to wait out the snowstorm here, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to force you.
You've contracted with the agency. I think I need to insist that while we are here, that you also assist us in our mission, because there is at least some belief within the agency that there is a high-level threat contained in this facility that is on the verge of breaking out. You have notes here.
Mhm.
Is this what they were regarding?
No.
What were your notes on?
Quantum physics, the makeup of the soul, how to travel between cells, how to harness the very power of what makes us conscious creatures.
I see. Okay. You haven't gone far beyond your doctorate thesis, I see. That's
Okay,
fine.
it takes a lot to do a doctorate thesis. The whole point of a doctorate thesis is to be very narrow. This is something that you just don't get. You can't do like a doctorate thesis on all of chemistry. What is the point? That is a textbook. You need to do something different.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Okay. We should make a plan of action. There is something here that poses a grave threat to the best of our knowledge. We need to get more information, and then we need to signal for retrieval. Those are our orders. Can you aid us in this? And we can aid you in getting your notes back. And in fact, I think that those two goals probably coincide.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. What do y'all do?
What are our options for progressing?
You go first into the wet room, where, as you guys would know, this is a standard cleaning facility. It's usually between any scientific or research facility or containment facility in the outside. It's just a place where you can get showers for radiation, scrubbings, antitoxins, that sort of thing. As you walk in, you see immediately what she was referring to, the desiccated corpse of an individual in a guard uniform, missing an arm.
I hand Ariel the arm. I already tried this. It doesn't work. I don't suppose you have a key to this thing since you guys work here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you tried this?
What?
What do you mean you
tried
this?
to eat it or anything?
No, I tried to use his fingerprint to get in. It said it wasn't enough of a fingerprint. So
Okay.
you work here. Maybe you could put a print in. My prints have been restricted, which is annoying.
We have significant security clearance, but we weren't assigned here. We can try.
I could try moisturizing his hand.
Go ahead, and if you don't have a move for that kind of spycraft, you can go ahead and roll cool.
I'm gonna try to do weird and do it with
Go
magic.
ahead. Go ahead.
7.
Janessa, you notice that he's performing magic to try to lift a more complete print. Roll for sharp.
Oh God, that is a 4.
So
Should I also roll sharp, or was this one Janessa specific?
You can roll sharp as well. Yeah, go ahead.
5.
So you guys know that even if you get a complete biometric scan, after a failure, and Janessa has already admitted that she tried to get in and failed, there's going to require some kind of access code anyway.
Okay. Messaging the deputy director. We are on a locked panel. We're trying to bypass it. Do you have an access code after one failure?
I know that this is a long shot, but I'm gonna rifle through dead guy's pockets to see if he put it down on a stupid sticky note. Maybe he was a rookie.
So the only thing in the dead guy's pockets are keys and a cell phone.
I take both. Is the cell phone still on?
Has power, yeah.
Is it locked?
There's a lock screen. Yeah, it's 4-digit code.
I try 1, 2, 3, 4.
It gets you in.
Cool. Whose phone is this? Let's hear.
Like,
go ahead.
It looks like just like a biotech facility clean room operator. It's about the same level of certification as a phlebotomist. He's very active on social media. Was dating a girl he apparently liked a lot because he'd sent like 10,000 text messages, exchanged like 10,000 text messages between him and her in the last like 6 months.
What's the most recent activity on it? I'm looking over her shoulder and asking her.
Yeah.
When's the last time this phone was used?
Text messages to the girl.
But like today?
Looks like the last one was sent 3 days ago, and it is ominous.
What does it say?
It says, "I'm not going to make it out of here. I love you so much. I'm glad I got to meet you. Tell my parents I love them." And all that is after that is about 50 text messages from the girl desperately begging him to text her back.
I look at the photo file to see if there's anything in the photos.
There's a ton of photographs of him. Lots of selfies, photographs with him and the girl. A couple of nice candid shots she apparently caught of him smiling up at the camera, super close up.
But nothing
If you know
in the
you're
facility.
going to die, why wouldn't you text her that you love her? That's weird.
If you're gonna die, why would you text her that you love her?
Why wouldn't you text? He didn't say I love you. He said I'm glad I got to know you. Tell my parents I love you.
You clearly don't understand how kids are dating these days.
I guess.
It's more complicated. You don't know you're loving the person until like a while. That's a lot. Even if you're about to die.
You guys keep
That's
reading
not-
his texts?
Yes.
I'm sure Janessa does.
As you go back, you start to see like elements of the conversation, like, man, weird stuff is going down at work. Like, there are less people coming through than ever before. People are acting all suspicious and strange. Someone died in the labs at one point. I think I need to find a new job, like stuff like that.
Okay. And this is going back, like the weirdness started like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Started a couple months ago.
Okay.
And
So
most
right
of
around the time
the complaints are very unspecific, but they are like something weird. They're very much like something weird is going on. I don't like being at work anymore. I don't feel safe. I'm nervous.
Let's see here. So that's all his text messages. That's his. I look and see there wouldn't be anything in a phone call log necessarily that wasn't in the text messages.
I take his keys while we're on the.
They look like sort of car keys. A couple of them look like maybe facility keys, like to custodial closets or something. As for the phone, Janessa, you find mainly calls to like mom, dad, to the girl, but there is a call to an unknown number at some point, like a couple of days ago.
Any voicemails?
Just one.
What is its voicemail?
When you play the voicemail, it makes a harsh, abrasive, like electronic grinding noise, like a razor being held up to the speakers. And it's loud and obnoxious, but when it ends, the console to the door beeps, and you hear the clicking sounds of locks coming undone in the steel door.
Well, that's fun. We're keeping this. And I walk through the door.
Ariel, Larry.
Well, follow behind her. She
Mm-hmm.
got a personal little minesweeper.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the floor plan as we go too, knowing where we're headed.
So out in the back of the clean facility, you enter like the employee sort of locker facility, and you enter a low ceiling room with a ton of rows of lockers, like a surprising amount. There are hundreds of lockers. And this is where, in a facility like this, people would doff their civilian clothes after being scrubbed and iodized and x-rayed and what have you, and get into any particular research gear or what have you. The temperature as you enter this place goes noticeably down.
How
It's
many
not
of the
the point
lockers?
where you're like under 32 yet, but it went from like 65 to like 50.
How many of the lockers have locks on them?
The vast majority.
I'm gonna check some of the ones that don't have locks. Are they empty?
Roll for go ahead and roll for sharp.
That's a 4.
So you're as far as you can tell, and as far as you're concerned, the lockers without locks are unclaimed. Like you check a couple and they're empty.
I request the names of facility heads.
Go ahead, roll to investigate a mystery to remember it.
So that's 5, 6, 7.
Yep. Andrew Ferret is the head of just the facility. He's just listed as facility director. And then there are various research heads for each of the facilities. And facility Zeta, where you're looking for, has Mr. Ferret himself as the research head, the director. A couple of other scientists, and chief consultant is Janessa Miller.
Do we have any of the listed names of people who might be further in the know having a locker here?
Everybody has a locker here. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I would like to look especially for Dr. Ferret's locker.
Is there anything movable and heavy in this room?
Yeah, that would have probably been the next question.
Huh?
Benches.
I pick up a bench and
Wait. Do all the locks the same type of lock?
The locks on the lockers are like padlocks. They're secured very conventionally.
Yeah. So
I look for a master key on the keychain. See, there's a master override key.
There is an aggressively cut key that looks like it might give some serious access.
I'm gonna go ahead and try it on some ones I want to get into.
Yeah.
Hopefully before she smashes it with a bench.
I pause the bench. I see what you're doing. That's a better idea.
Hand went back to gun as bench was being raised. And then
Oh my god! If I was going to hurt you, frankly, I wouldn't. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
I'm sorry. You joined us here. You joined us here through a wormhole from an asylum. I'm a little bit on edge.
Okay, well, you should be on edge because there's something that's making mummies out of people, but I am not your problem.
You are amongst
set up
my
arcane
problems.
Protections on this place?
Can I set up protections on this place?
Did you set up arcane protections on this place?
Oh, yes, I set up a few.
Okay.
Yeah, but I kind of spent what I've got, so that's what we got.
All right.
Am I able to open the locks?
Yes.
Any of the locks? Yes.
This is a facilities key. It looks like the padlocks were universally distributed and thus have a skeleton key.
Open all the ones we think might be useful and see if there's anything interesting in any of them.
Which one do you go to? You gotta give me a specific one.
The director
Ferret first.
Yeah.
All right. You open his locker and a body falls out of it.
Is it also desiccated?
It sure is.
All right. Well, clearly it's not just a general woo thing. It's putting people into lockers. That's unfortunate. Is there anything else interesting in the locker?
Or they could have gotten into the locker and then been desiccated.
They locked
themselves in a magical high school bully.
I don't know.
Would he have fit in the locker pre-desiccation?
They're big enough.
If I were attempting to hide from a monstrous entity running around killing people, I might hide in a locker.
Wait, this was padlocked from the outside?
Mm-hmm.
So someone had to lock him in. Maybe he went in voluntarily and someone padlocked him in. But
there's a number of possibilities.
When the body hits the ground, with an audible thud. It sort of echoes through this labyrinthine room. And then noises follow.
Oh, God.
Creaks of metal.
I pick up the bench
Locker
again.
doors opening and closing. And then the sound of heavy footfalls all around you, coming closer and closer.
I am going to seek a hiding place.
Go for it.
I-
Roll for it.
What would that be?
That would be sharp.
Cool. My good one. 7, 8, 9.
All right, you can get into the locker where that you just opened if you want.
Is there a different hiding place than the place where someone died?
There is not.
I motion
Okay.
to the locker. I'm like, Ariel, I will lock it for you if you'd like.
I'm more concerned with, like, if there's obviously going to... Ariel's not that mean, because there's not room for 3 of us in this locker, so...
There's not. There's really only room for one.
Yeah, so I'll stand my ground. Is there time, as these footfalls approach, to
Oh,
put
there
the
is.
gun away and pull out my flamethrower?
There is. There's like they're not close when you start to hear them. They're from like the outskirts of the room, but they're definitely coming in.
Okay. Well, I've
Larry
procured a
has
weapon
his-
that requires less skill to murder a lot.
Larry has his Glock in one hand and his mace in his other hand, not particularly intimidated with either one, but he has them ready, looking around.
Janessa,
waiting
are
for
you
these-
armed?
I just pull the 2 of them in front of me, and I'm like, no, honey, but you're fine.
Aren't they coming around from all sides?
I also pick up the lock because I can. Okay, I don't know how I grab the lock because I would like to be able to use it in a makeshift spell should I need it. Because I think I can do that. So I do.
And then is this kind of all you guys do to prepare?
Yeah,
Is there-
kind of back to back. I'm picturing a little bit like prepared to.
Oh no! I also grab the leg off of this thing and hold it like a bat.
You were right. You could have killed us. I will hold my gun back.
Oh wait, so offering it to me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. This will be better than the leg. Brilliant.
Don't shoot me.
I'm not going to shoot you. Why would I shoot you?
I
Do
don't
you know how
say
to use that
anything to
thing?
that. I am just prepared to die.
As you wait and as the noises clatter around you, slowly but surely from like the rows and rows of lockers stagger. At first, your immediate instinct is skeletons, but it's just more of these corpses, and they're walking towards you in rows. There are dozens of them. People, the people who staffed this place, drained to the point where there's nothing left in them, shriveled and skinny, their bones poking out of their skin. Sometimes their skin's so dehydrated the bones are actually poking out in places. And they clunk, clunk, clunk. And as they close in on you, suddenly they all stop. Like mannequins.
I don't make any moves.
Is this anything either of you are familiar with?
This isn't my area of expertise.
Of course not. Larry?
I holster my pistol and slowly as I can start trying to cast a spell, trying to figure out what's going on.
Go for
Just
it.
a
Roll for
divination
whatever you need
spell.
to roll for.
So that's a 12.
These corpses responded to something you guys did. They're not hostile. In fact, they're the exact opposite. It's like they're being driven by some sort of coordination animating them. And they're just standing there waiting.
I pick the leg back up and hand it to one of them.
And go and do what with one of them?
Just hand it to one of them.
Here's the leg.
It accepts it from you and hugs it close and does nothing else.
Did we get a look at the face of the body that fell out of the locker?
It's as good as you can tell anybody's face. They're completely destroyed just from being pulled taut against the skull.
I bend down and I pick up the rest of the corpse and I hand it to another one of them.
Wait a second.
What? Give them their person.
I'm going to try to rehydrate the face so I can look at it and take a picture of it.
Sure, how are you going to do that?
Magic.
Okay, go for it.
I'm not trying to animate it, just trying to,
Rehydrate.
liquefy it, rehydrate it so that it looks somewhat like it did in life. 10.
You can do it.
Snap a picture,
Sure.
send it off. Is this Director Ferret?
No, I'll look through the personnel guide. The corpses are kind of swaying, but they're standing still.
Can we help you?
Just this chorus of moans.
Is it okay if we go?
They say
I'm gonna need a yes or a no. Okay. Would
This
you
is
like to
Denny?
come with us? Is he saying 30?
I'm
Denny,
going to press record if they say it again.
They do. They're uttering it.
I speed it up.
Thirsty.
Okay.
I brought 5 days worth of food and water.
Was there like a drinking fountain in here?
Oh yeah. There's drinking fountains. There's showers. There's
is
a
it-
water cooler. There's a
function-
coffee bar.
Are they functional?
Yeah. In fact, the water cooler is like 3/4 full.
Powers up for the facility as well, right?
It'd be emergency backup power, but yes, it's powered.
Outlets running?
Yeah, probably to a degree, just for very, very slow charging.
Okay. All right.
I
see
have a
what you're doing there.
potentially bad idea.
Brilliant.
What if I try to get the water cooler water into some of them and rehydrate them?
Let's do it. I look around for an IV.
We don't need an IV.
Okay, it's fine. I mean, like, it's, don't get me wrong. Your only real obstacle to lifting up the water is that it's really, really heavy.
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking of it.
So what are you gonna do with it?
You're just gonna dump it on them?
I was going to try to magically use it to hydrate all of them some.
Go for it. Cast a spell. Tell me what you want it to do. Like,
Hey, just spread out the water so they all have some water put in their systems.
so,
Like
like,
rehydrate them all.
put the water into their mouths, or just this
Just-
general, like,
Just rehydrate their cells. Try to.
okay.
Accessing through the skin or through an orifice of some kind?
No, just putting it magically, just transferring it.
Yeah,
Naturally
you cast
hot.
a spell, and water comes out of the top of the tank you've retrieved, and goes out and finds, like, maneuvers through the air and finds these corpses and goes into them. And for a moment, this look of like incredible relief comes over all their faces. And then one of them twitches. And then another one twitches. And then now they're vibrating and they're clawing at their faces, twisting back and forth. You hear bones breaking with the violent jerking, and they start to howl these screams of pain. And some of them drop to their knees and start expelling just dark, awful, stinky liquids in projectile fashion. And an angry and furious scream goes up from the crowd, and they all regard the three of you again. Only this time their facial expressions don't seem passive. There's something very, very dark behind their eyes.
Okay, well, we clearly made it worse.
Sorry, we're trying to help.
Go. And I just like take off for the door, which is, I'm assuming, behind us, right?
Wait, hang on one second. Got to interrupt here.
Yeah.
So when I cast magic, so I get to ask a question for investigative mystery.
Sure do.
What happened here?
You gave them something that is toxic to them. And in doing so, made their thirst orders of magnitude worse. You are all in great danger.
Yeah, I'm running to the door, the back door.
I was gonna say I'm gonna try to remove myself from this situation.
You guys run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody roll tough.
Good at these.
6.
Nope.
What'd you roll?
3.
I rolled a 3 also, but with my modifiers, it's a 2.
So you turn to run, and what you discover immediately is these things that sort of shambled up to you. They're not shambling anymore. Now they're moving like cat quick. And they close the distance between you very quickly. And one of them makes a leap at Janessa. Roll tough to defend.
Ugh.
She's the one who's moving well.
So that is a 5.
Ooh. Go ahead.
Hold on. No, I think that's all I do. Yeah. That's a 5.
It tackles you and bites into you the first thing it can, probably your arm, just down hard. You take 1 harm, and it's painful. And then it rears its head back, and its mouth is coated in blood, and it shrieks this awful cry. And here comes another wave of them, and you're certain you're done for. But they pull it off of you, and another one tries to jump, but one of them trips it up. And before you guys know it, they're fighting each other over the opportunity to get at you.
Oh, lovely. Let's go.
Hey, you know what dry-ass corpses are? Dry.
Tinder.
Yeah. I will be moving backward, but as they are gaining on us, I would like to set them on fire now.
Go for it.
All right.
Roll it.
Rolling tough.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1 luck a session, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that's 6. Which isn't quite enough. I think that's 1 below what I need to be for good.
Can I try to help her out?
Yeah. You have stuff banked too. You have stuff pulled.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
can
help out.
Yeah, if you can just do anything to
Oh,
raise that by
cool.
1, it'll be at least moderately effective.
Cool. So that's a 7. So that's enough. So you get +2. That's one of my
All right.
moves. You get
8.
+2 when I help out.
All right. You spray a burst of flames into this group of things, and they all ignite, like way too well ignite. Like the moment the flame touches them, they all just burst into flames, and another cry echoes out of the group you poured fire on, and then they all just melt into dust and flakes of skin and shards of bone. It's like they just fall apart.
Including only the ones I hit, or all of
Only
them?
the ones you hit.
Okay.
And all that is left is a sort of flaming, smoking sand pit. And the rest of them, and there are like a dozen left, they take one look at that and one look at you and skitter off into the darkness as fast as you can see.
There's just like a shaking, sweaty, like Alien 1 Ripley face, like holding that flamethrower.
I pat Ariel on the back. I'm like, that was an excellent idea. And I look at my arm and I want to see if it is like
Mummy?
looking gangrenous.
You've gotten a bite taken out of you, and it drew blood. It looks like a regular bite, though.
Okay.
I mean, the kind that you might have gotten if someone got a particularly aggressive in certain situations, or like a dog bite.
I mean, this is aggressively aggressive because I'm assuming since it was winter, I was wearing clothes. Human jaws biting through like
this sucker
clothes
bit down for all it was worth. It was desperate to bite you.
Did we set off any fire alarms, smoke alarms, any sprinkler system?
There's beeping, like they're but heat triggers the fire suppression system, and these things were destroyed so fast the fire couldn't really catch or grow. It smothered itself.
I was worried about it spreading, but not as worried as I was about getting eaten. So, good.
Well, that was excellent. Shall we? Maybe next time, let's not feed the locals.
Don't act like you knew what would happen. You gave them a leg.
Yeah, and that didn't do any harm.
I think that his thing
probably
was
a bad idea.
What?
Being here is a bad idea.
Yeah, that's true. You did say it was possibly a bad idea. It's fine. We're all fine. Shall we? I need to go get my notes, and I would like to get out of here. Even more.
You know the facility. You lead the way.
And I go through I'm assuming there's a door.
You leave the locker facility.
Keep an eye on her in case she turns into a zombie or whatever.
I had thought about it. The bright side is, if she does, I don't think she'll be very good at using the gun. Otherwise follow, though.
Yeah, you leave the locker facility, the sort of clothes facility, and move to the central lift down into the research facilities. It's kind of a nondescript room with a freight elevator in the center, and slumped against the controls of the freight elevator is somebody in a suit.
Does somebody have a wallet or an ID card, ID badge, anything?
Roll for sharp if you're looking at him.
That's a 10.
As you sort of tilt him up to start searching him, two things stand out to all of you immediately. One is that his throat was ripped out. And to Ariel and Larry, you know this guy. This is an operative. You've been on assignment with him before.
And I'm assuming that a throat ripped out by like teeth, right? Not fingers, not claws.
Hard to tell, because when I say ripped out, I mean ripped out. You can see the white of his spine.
Can we tell how long ago he was killed?
Less than a day.
Also, hello, the King Karma. Welcome.
Ariel?
Yes.
This seems like it took place between the time all the bad stuff supposedly happened and we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible Deputy Director Smith sent somebody else in here before us and didn't want to tell us about it?
It is possible, but it's not just that he would have kept it from us. It would have been an actual lie, which is possible if he wanted to get us to do it, but he was also very direct about how dangerous it was, and that we probably would have done it anyway, even if he had lost contact with the previous team. I also think it's entirely possible that this is separate somehow. The deputy director, if he did send someone and then lost contact, I can't see his motive for not telling us.
No, you said we know this operative. Is he more of a field guy than we are?
Big time. In fact, he's Mr. Badass. He's the guy they send in with guns blazing, tactical gear. You know for a fact his favorite thing to do on assignment is rappel down buildings.
Does he have any tactical gear on him, any guns or anything?
No, but some stuff's wrong. All of you roll weird.
That one I'm good at.
5.
5. Well, we're going to go low to high.
13.
Ariel, what do you look at with your 5? Just what do you look for on this person?
I'm going to be looking at like splatter patterns. Like, was this slumped against a wall? Was this dead and then fell against wall? Or was this like crawled into here from outside? I'm looking for anything that suggests the crime scene.
I'll allow you to roll cool to enhance that.
Okay, cool. I've got +1 there. That's a 7.
This individual, what happened to him, the throat rip, it was one move. He was probably operating the elevator.
Okay.
All right. Larry, what do you examine?
I was looking to see what kind of tactical gear he had. Are there any other signs of wounds that, was something removed after he was injured or anything like that?
He has no tactical gear or anything on him, but when you start like checking his pockets, his hands, you notice something interesting, and that's that his hands don't look right. His hands are bigger, first of which, than you remember them being, quite a bit bigger. His fingers are longer, and they're like petrified.
Are the fingernails normal or
long?
Oh no.
Janessa, with your 13, what do you look at?
I want to look at his. I want to look at his teeth.
Fangs.
Yeah. Oh, guys, he's a vampire.
What?
You have a vampire running around.
What? What?
What do you mean, what?
What? Why? Why?
Why?
Was he a vampire?
Okay.
And they are not just the Dracula fangs, long incisors. His teeth look like something more out of a shark than out of a human mouth.
My guess is this is a baby or a thrall or something. Does anyone have anything to take its head off?
I think even if it's a vampire, it's pretty dead.
Oh, does it have a thing through its chest? Is its head removed? They come back.
All right.
Can
Well,
I
then-
use their flamethrower?
Wait.
Burn it.
We're not using
No,
flamethrower
wait.
in the elevator.
If our former colleague does still exist, maybe it is better to use appropriate restraints in this situation and maybe get a better handle on things. If we can find a way to secure him, then we could learn more about what ripped his throat out.
Why? Is that what your
Because-
mission is?
Yes,
It is.
reconnaissance is our mission, yes.
You figured out what happened. There's vampires. Let's burn him and go, because otherwise he's coming after us.
Vampires are not the level of threat we are worried about. A vampire outbreak, yes, that would be a problem. That is not what the deputy director is concerned over here. Our potential issues run far deeper.
Yes, they do, and they will if you don't burn this thing.
Ariel, if you want, I could try ask them what killed him.
There are two potential answers to that. Whatever turned him and whatever ripped his throat out, if those are not the same thing. I would like to roll my preparedness
Go
to
for
see if I had high density restraints built for powerful monsters.
Go ahead and roll it.
Yeah. Woo! Woo! Best time to roll good things. I roll a natural 10 for 12, and on a 10 plus, I have something unusual or rare right here and now.
You have it. What do you want?
Okay. I would like high density restraints built for very strong monsters.
You have them.
Okay. I would like to lock this thing the fuck up.
It's not hard to lock it down. It's not resisting you. Like it's stiff, like
Mhm.
rigor mortis, even more extreme. But it's not fighting you. It's completely down.
I'm gonna kind of make that a little bit like not a hog tie, but like in the front, so that things would be very difficult, even not so they can't just like run around and grab us, but with hands tied,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. To the best of your understanding of vampires, he still exists then? I can guarantee you that these restraints are strong.
I mean, honey, to the best of my understanding of vampires, we don't know what we're dealing with. Best case scenario, your friend is still there. Worst case scenario, something has eaten his brain and he's going to wake up and try to eat you.
Just to
You're
roll
right.
weird. We're gonna see what you know about vampires. Roll weird.
10.
They're people. They're infected with some kind of like curse or a virus. You never actually did like a lot of study on it. You know that what ends up dominating them is hunger. It's so potent and all-consuming that it changes who they are. Even if they weren't the type of person who'd ever hurt somebody else, it just takes a matter of hours for a newly risen vampire to become overwhelmed by its new needs, and it is no longer that person. But in terms of like memories, some aspects of personality, all that typically remains intact. Their priorities just change as their needs do.
Fabulous. So it's going to get hungry. It's probably going to get hungry enough to break its own arms to get out of that restraint and come after you. It may remember who you are, but it is going to be crazy blind by how hungry it is.
Okay.
Whatever it needs. So you can leave it here and it can drag itself to a terrible death. Probably taking you with it. Or we can burn the damn thing and get on with it.
Great.
We
So
have
we'll
it.
do that if this doesn't work.
We have
Larry.
Let's ask some questions.
Larry, go for it, man.
Boxcars.
Yeah.
It's a total of 5.
You want to luck it?
Yeah, I'll use my luck for the mission.
Session's almost over, so it's not a bad time to use luck.
Yeah, I'll use luck.
Okay. You gonna read it? You gonna reroll? I probably would.
Yeah. Can't do any worse.
Yeah.
Okay, 6. That's a 9.
You sort of cast your spell, and his eyes open, and they look around the room like slowly and languidly, and it starts to make a rasping, rattling noise as something resembling breath moves through its ruined throat. And it just observes you.
Eric, this is Larry. Do you remember me?
Larry, you're real.
What happened to you?
He let it out to see what it would do.
Who let it out?
The facility director. He turns to Janessa. Your research. So thirsty.
What about my research?
They used your research to make the thing.
Ugh. Oh, this is so. This is not what it's supposed to be for. Where is it?
Did you cure it?
Well, not yet.
The disease you were studying in Weldport, the God Killer. Did you cure it?
No, but we did make a godling. We made a little one. Well, okay, I didn't, but it got made.
Yes.
It was very interesting.
Yes, you did. And it's here. And it's
Tom
hungry.
is here.
Who's Tom?
He's a godling. Tom is here? Why is Tom here?
The boy, all he does is eat.
Okay, is the boy Thomas or is there another boy? Because you are going to have to be specific. What?
The research subject, we don't give them names.
You give them numbers.
7, 8, I don't remember. Maybe with a little bit of food.
Nope. So sorry.
You're already bleeding. He's giving a little drop.
I'm sorry, no.
Food. So hungry.
Do we think we can get anything more out of him?
Ever since the bite, so hungry.
You'll have to put him out of his misery. I'm so sorry. This is
Larry, do you think we have more to get out of him?
Probably not.
Is there any known cure?
for vampirism? Well, they just made it, so no.
Ariel,
Yes.
do it.
I am sorry. Would you like me to communicate anything to anybody else?
Tell them I went fighting.
Yes.
Don't tell anybody they got me.
Of course you did.
I hand Ariel my silver knife.
Do it before I change. It's coming.
I'm sorry. And I am going to close my eyes, grip head, and finish the rest of the decapitation.
When his head falls off his shoulders, his entire body just melts into dust and ash and bone.
I am going to take a long, deep inhale and collect my restraints, wipe a couple of tears from my face, and then look at the others. See? A little bit of investigation never hurts. Now we can be on our way.
I'm so annoyed they used my research to make vampires. What kind of adolescent nonsense is this?
Yes.
I'm not sure they made the vampires. Maybe the thing they created with your research made the vampires.
Okay, well, regardless, this is not what it was for.
What was your research about anyway? What, something about a god disease killer? What?
Oh, well, there was that. Yes, there was. There was a god, and it was sick, and we needed it. Somebody wanted to make it sick so they could kill all the gods, which was probably going to, topple some pretty important things. They did make one sick, and then we got a piece of it, and we got it here, and it's still here running around like a tiny little god foot, just like.
Like here in the building?
Well, he said it was here, but I don't think he was talking about the same him. He was not using his pronouns particularly specifically. But there's a godling. His name is Regular Tom, and he lives in Waldport. But I think he can pop around.
His name's Regular Tom?
His name is Thomas, but there were several Thomases. It was a long story. And we just called him Regular Tom because there was too many of them. Yeah, I wonder if he is here because he could probably help us out.
Okay. Is there any sort of communication I can help you with?
I was going to say, do I have my phone?
You don't have a phone, no, considering you escaped from a mental health institution.
I know, but they would have taken my stuff at the mental health institute.
They would have. You're
And so-
probably not even really dressed appropriately for the weather, given how chaotic your last 12 hours has been.
But so I could have been here. Okay, can I spend, because we get 1 luck point per episode, right? Can I spend my luck point to have gotten my phone?
Sure.
Cool. I have my phone and I call Tom because I have Tom's number because he was helping me.
No answer. But no voicemail either. It's like no answer as in busy from no signal.
He has no signal. That is super promising.
Wait, you have a god on your phone?
I have a godling in my contacts. Yes. It is way less weird than all of this.
That's not a very high standard.
I'm sorry, sir. You do magic.
So
Yeah, you said it's less weird than a facility full of zombies and vampires and mummies.
Guess what? If you knew Regular Tom, you'd know how not weird it is. He's really very he's painfully normal, except when he's not.
Just somebody called Regular Tom makes me think he's not really regular. It's like,
Well, he did break
high
off of it.
quality, whatever is usually not high quality.
He's a bit of a dumbass. That's for sure.
He would desperately like to be actually human, but he's a tiny splinter of an ancient god of death and sleep, and those two don't really mix. So it's cute, He'll be useful. And I think he might be downstairs.
Are these people affiliated with the agency?
No.
Why
Not
not?
that I know of. They might be. I don't really know who pays their bills. They seem like a motley crew of freelancers.
Why did you?
Two of them.
You should have brought them to us.
Okay, well, I was busy, and I thought that this was going to be a really quick in and out errand. So no.
I guess I mean before. I don't know.
Ariel, keep in mind she broke out of a mental facility, so
Again, there was a time before that. Anyway, it's fine.
You guys take the elevator into the facility?
Yes, stepping over the stuff of that was him.
I'm assuming it's getting colder.
Yes.
Well,
Fun fact, do you guys know how cold space is?
Pretty near absolute zero.
Yes. Yes. Do you know how cold the abyss is?
I'm sorry, define?
The primordial abyss from where everything came? It's colder. This is not a natural cold. At least I don't think it is.
Okay. Fine. Well, then I'm glad that I brought fire.
In the elevator, there's a headless corpse in a lab coat.
Does it have an ID badge?
It's a Zeta researcher.
I take the ID badge so that we can use it to get in, and I look in the pockets to see if there's anything else useful.
Small notebook.
What is in the notebook?
Looks like various research notes.
On vampirism?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll for weird.
Let me guess. They found an ancient. They captured it downstairs. They started dissecting it or breeding it or some silly thing like that. 9.
This facility radically repurposed from trying to study like metaphysical manifestations to pursuing a promising lead looking for a cure.
A cure to what?
The disease that creates the kind of hemophilia that they diagnose as vampirism.
Okay.
Can we figure out a timeline as to when that shift began?
Several months prior.
This is so strange, though, because this would seem to indicate that there was a lot more vampires than one would expect, right? Why would a government facility put all of their effort into a cure for vampirism if there's so few of them that they're basically a legendary imaginary creature?
I don't know. I have not encountered a vampire before, but obviously.
I mean, the military implications are massive, but I don't know why they'd be wanting a cure if it's a military implication.
You would need to control the spread if you were intending to use it as any sort of weapon.
What if somebody wanted to retire, go back to being a normal human being?
Oh, the government doesn't let you do that.
The other thing the notes tell you very clearly that you can glean, Janessa, is your research was the breakthrough. Some powerful supernatural plague to destroy a more earthly one. That's what they were experimenting with.
Yeah.
It wasn't just your notes that you sent back that they raided from you. It was your samples.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is such amateur hour.
In what way?
They basically turned metaphysical, quantum theoretical chemistry Into just basic pharmaceutical science. It's insulting. They're going to put a price tag on it. They're going to sell it to the highest bidder. And I'm not going to get any credit for it.
If it's the U.S. government, they're not going to really sell it to anybody. But
Well,
I'm not going to get any credit.
I don't know what to do with any of this.
Did anybody push the down button?
would you really want credit for vampirism?
No, I want credit for the underlying theory because I would like to eventually be the one to create a human soul.
Just thinking like the movie Oppenheimer version of
As
vampire.
you say, as the elevator descends and thuds at the bottom, you finish that sentence. I would like to get credit for creating another human soul. And a deep voice calls out of the darkness, "Think you could give me back mine?" And that is where part one ends.
Ooh. All right.
I'm so sorry, Thomas. You never had a soul, but we can try to get you one.
It's not Tom. You'll see.
Well, thank you, everybody. In theory, we will be back next week.
Yeah,
And
the
if
thrilling
not,
conclusion of a long night.
we'll be
Indeed.
back a week after that. We are here most Tuesdays playing Monster of the Week. If you want to catch up ever, check us out on YouTube. We are the Society of Uncanny Pros on YouTube. And you can also find us on Facebook, or you can watch reruns here on Twitch. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Indeed. Have a wonderful
Good
evening.
night.
Peace.